He wakes at 5:47 a.m., 3 minutes before the alarm. The room is still dark. His wife is asleep beside him, her breathing slow and even. He doesn't wake her. He never does. There was a time when he would have turned toward her, listened to that breathing, let himself drift back under. But now his mind is already moving. Emails, the presentation, the thing he forgot to finish yesterday. He showers in silence, dresses in the dark, leaves the house before the sun touches the kitchen window. This is Tuesday, but it could be any day. The coffee shop near his office knows his order. The barista doesn't smile much, but she starts making his drink when she sees him through the window. He used to think this was nice. Now it just means he's predictable. He sits in the same corner seat and opens his laptop. The screen glows blue against his face. Outside, people walk by. He doesn't see them. He used to sit in coffee shops to write. That was years ago. He had a notebook with a leather cover and pages that smelled like possibility. He wrote about things that didn't matter to anyone but him, fragments of thought, descriptions of light on water, conversations he imagined having with his younger self. His handwriting was terrible. He didn't care. The notebook is somewhere now, in a box probably, in the garage or the closet, or thrown out during one of the moves. He doesn't remember deciding to stop. It just happened. 1 week became 2, 2 became a month. The notebook stayed closed, and then one day he needed the space on his desk for something important. At work, there's a window behind his desk. It faces another building. Sometimes he looks up and sees someone at a window over there, also looking at a screen. He wonders if they see him. He wonders if they wonder the same thing. Then he goes back to work. His manager asks how he's doing. He says he's good. His manager nods and walks away. This is what good means here. On time, no complaints, output consistent. No one asks what good means at 11 p.m. when he's still awake, staring at his phone, scrolling through nothing. There's a photo on his desk. It was taken 4 years ago, maybe 5, a beach trip. His daughter is small in the picture, holding a plastic shovel, squinting at the camera. He's crouched beside her, smiling. He looks different, younger, obviously, but that's not it. There's something in his eyes that isn't there anymore, a looseness, an ease. His daughter is 9 now. She asked him last week if he wanted to build a fort in the living room. He said maybe later. She said okay and walked away. She didn't ask again. Lunch is eaten at his desk, a salad from the place downstairs. He doesn't taste it. Eating is just something that happens between tasks. His colleague stops by, says something about the weekend, about plans. He nods. He has no plans. The weekend is 2 days to catch up on the work he didn't finish during the week. There was a time when weekends meant something, when he and his wife would drive somewhere for no reason, when they'd get lost on purpose, when they'd sit on the hood of the car and watch the sky turn orange and say nothing because nothing needed to be said. Now the weekends feel like waiting rooms, time between the thing that matters and the next thing that matters, except he's not sure anymore what the thing is, only that it requires more hours, more focus, more of whatever he has left. He gets home at 7:30 p.m., His daughter's at the table finishing homework. She looks up when he walks in. He asks how school was. She says, fine. He nods. She goes back to her work. He goes to the kitchen. His wife is making dinner. She doesn't ask about his day. They used to do that, sit across from each other and actually talk. But somewhere along the way, the questions started feeling like obligations, the answers like scripts. So they stopped asking. Now they move around each other like people in a train station, efficient and separate. Dinner is quiet. His daughter talks about a project. He listens, or he thinks he does, but his mind is elsewhere. There's an email he needs to send, a revision that's due. His phone buzzes in his pocket. He doesn't check it, but he feels it, a small pulse of urgency, a reminder that somewhere something is waiting. After dinner, his daughter asks if he wants to watch a show with her. He says he has to finish something for work. She says, okay. She's good at saying okay. She's learned not to push. He goes to his office, closes the door, opens his laptop. The screen glows blue again. He works until his eyes burn, until his wife's footsteps in the hallway go silent, until the house is completely still. When he finally shuts the laptop, it's past midnight. He sits there in the dark for a moment, listening to nothing. There's a feeling in his chest, small and cold, like something is missing, but he can't name it. So he goes to bed. The next morning, he wakes at 5:47 a.m. On Saturday, he takes his daughter to the park. It was his wife's idea. She said it gently, but he heard the edge underneath. You should spend time with her, as if time were the issue, as if showing up were the same as being there. At the park, his daughter runs to the swings. He pushes her, his hands on her back, the rhythm automatic. She's laughing. He's thinking about Monday, about the thing he didn't finish, about the promotion that was hinted at but never promised, about what it would mean, more money, more security, more proof that he made the right choices. His daughter asks him to watch her on the slide. He says he's watching, but his phone is in his hand and his eyes are on the screen. She slides down. She looks back at him. He's scrolling. She doesn't say anything. She just walks to the slide again and climbs back up. Later, in the car, she's quiet. He asks if she had fun. She says yes, but her voice is flat. He doesn't press. He turns on the radio and drives home. There's a drawer in his office, bottom left. He opened it once, months ago, looking for a charger. Inside, he found an old journal, not the leather one, a different one, spiral-bound, cheap. He flipped through it, pages of plans he'd written years ago, places he wanted to go, things he wanted to build. A list titled, What Matters, underlined twice. He read the list. It was short. Time with people I love, work that feels like mine, moments I can't plan. He closed the journal, put it back in the drawer, shut it. He hasn't opened it since. His father calls on a Thursday evening. They talk every few weeks, but the calls are short. His father asks about work. He says it's busy. His father says that's good. There's a long pause. His father says he was thinking about the summer they drove to the coast, just the two of them. The car broke down halfway there, and they had to wait 4 hours for a tow truck. They sat on the side of the road, eating gas station sandwiches, watching trucks go by. His father laughs, remembering. He says, that was a good day. He agrees, but he barely remembers it. Not because it didn't happen, but because he wasn't storing it as something to keep. Back then, everything felt permanent. Now, everything feels like preparation for something else. His father asks when he's coming to visit. He says soon. His father says, okay. They hang up. 2 months later, his father has a stroke. He flies out the next day, sits in a hospital room that smells like disinfectant and old air. His father is awake but tired. He holds his father's hand. It's thin, lighter than he remembers. His father says, I thought we'd have more time. He says, we do. You're going to be fine. His father looks at him, doesn't argue, just squeezes his hand once gently and closes his eyes. 3 days later, his father dies. At the funeral, people say kind things. They talk about his father's life like it was a story with a shape, a beginning, a middle, an end. But all he can think about is that phone call, that pause, That question he didn't answer. When are you coming to visit? Soon, but soon never came. He takes a week off work. His wife says he should take more. He says a week is enough. On the fourth day, he's back on his laptop, answering emails, fixing things. His wife watches him from the doorway. She doesn't say anything. She just closes the door quietly and walks away. That night, he finds himself in his daughter's room. She's asleep. He sits on the edge of her bed and watches her breathe. Her face is soft, unguarded. She looks so much like she did in that photo on his desk, except she's not that small anymore. She's growing fast, faster than he realized. He thinks about all the times she asked him to play, to watch, to just sit with her. All the times he said later. He wonders how many laters are left. On Monday, he goes back to work. His manager asks how he's doing. He says he's fine. His manager nods. The day continues, but something is different now. Not big, not obvious, just a shift, a crack. He's sitting at his desk, looking at his screen, and he realizes he doesn't know what he's working on, not in the surface sense. He knows the task. He knows the deadline, but he doesn't know why. He doesn't know what this is for, what it's building toward, what it's protecting him from. He looks at the photo on his desk, his daughter's face, his own. He thinks about his father's hand, how light it felt. He thinks about the notebook in the garage, the list in the drawer, the mornings he didn't turn toward his wife, the forts he didn't build, the slides he didn't watch. He thinks about the life he built, the one that looks successful from the outside, the one that requires everything and gives back very little, the one that was supposed to make him safe. And he realizes it did. It made him safe from failure, safe from judgment, safe from risk, but it didn't make him safe from loss. Because the things he was protecting, the presence, the connection, the aliveness, those were the first things he gave away. That night, he comes home early. His daughter is surprised. She asks if something's wrong. He says no. He asks if she wants to build a fort. She stares at him for a second like she's checking if he's serious. Then she grins. They build it in the living room, chairs and blankets and couch cushions. It's lopsided. It collapses twice. They laugh. His wife watches from the kitchen, her arms folded, a small smile on her face. Inside the fort, his daughter asks him to tell her a story, not one from a book, one from his head. He hesitates. He's not good at this, but he tries. He makes something up. It's messy and strange and doesn't really go anywhere. She loves it. When she falls asleep in the fort, he doesn't move her. He just sits there in the dim light, listening to her breathe. His wife sits beside him. She doesn't say anything. She just takes his hand. For the first time in years, he feels it. The thing he couldn't name. It's not peace. It's not relief. It's just presence, the simplest, most impossible thing. The next morning, he wakes at 5:47 a.m., but this time he doesn't get up. He turns toward his wife, listens to her breathe, lets the alarm go off, lets the emails wait. He doesn't know if this changes anything. He doesn't know if one morning is enough to undo years of absence, but he knows this. The life he built was supposed to protect him from death, from failure, from the terror of not mattering. But all it did was speed up the clock, because every moment he spent building the life he thought he needed was a moment he wasn't living the one he had. He thinks about his father, about the coast, about the broken down car and the gas station sandwiches, about how his father called it a good day, not because anything happened, but because they were there. He gets up, makes coffee, wakes his daughter gently. She's groggy, confused. He says, "Let's be late today." She laughs, still half asleep, and says, "Okay." They sit at the table, no phones, no screens, just toast and juice and the sound of her telling him about a dream she had. He listens, really listens, and for the first time in years, he's not thinking about what comes next. Later at work, his manager asks if everything's okay. He says yes, but he's lying. Everything is not okay. Everything is breaking open. Everything is rearranging. He looks at his screen, at the tasks, at the emails, at the life he built that doesn't need him the way his daughter does, the way his wife does, the way his father did. And he realizes he can keep building this. He can keep trading his presence for the illusion of security. He can keep waking at 5:47 and arriving home at 7:30 and answering emails at midnight. Or he can stop, not dramatically, not all at once, but slowly, quietly, one choice at a time. He doesn't know what that looks like yet. He just knows he's tired of running from the only thing that's certain. That evening, he leaves work at 5 p.m. No explanation, no guilt, just walks out. At home, his daughter is on the floor, drawing. He sits beside her. She hands him a marker. He draws something terrible. She laughs. He laughs. His wife walks by, stops, watches. She doesn't say anything, but her eyes are wet. That night, he opens the drawer, takes out the journal, reads the list again. Time with people I love, work that feels like mine, moments I can't plan. He doesn't cross it out, doesn't rewrite it, just closes the journal and leaves it on his desk where he can see it. A reminder, not of what he should do, but of what he already knows. The weeks pass. He doesn't fix everything. He still wakes early, still works long hours sometimes, still feels the pull of the thing he built. But now there are cracks, moments when he chooses differently, mornings when he stays, evenings when he closes the laptop, weekends when they drive somewhere for no reason. His daughter notices. She asks him to play more. He says yes more, not every time, but more. His wife notices. She reaches for his hand more. He doesn't pull away. One Saturday, they're at the park again. His daughter is on the swings. His phone buzzes. He looks at it. An email. Something urgent, probably. Something that can't wait. He puts the phone in his pocket. His daughter yells, "Watch this." He watches. Years from now, he won't remember the emails. He won't remember the deadlines or the promotions or the late nights that felt so critical. But he'll remember this, her voice, her laugh, the way the light caught her hair as she swung higher. He'll remember that he was there, not because he had to be, but because he chose to be. And maybe that's the only thing that ever mattered. The life you build will outlive you, but it won't remember you.